Tony Betancourt brings Brazilian flair to his menu at 62 Restaurant and Wine Bar. He takes incredible pride in preparing the finest food with the best locally sourced ingredients. Next time your travels find you in Salem, be sure to stop by 62 and try the veal short ribs. It's lights out. In Salem, there is no shortage of things to do and places to eat. But another hot spot you have to check out is also right on Pickering Wharf.
Hi, I'm George Carey. Welcome to Finn's.
Putting a modern spin on New England standards, Finn's has made a name for itself with its menu of fresh, high-quality seafood and well-chosen wine list. Yellowfin tuna tartare, shrimp cocktail, grilled swordfish, seared yellowfin tuna, crab martinis, and of course, lobster. They all make up a menu that gives suburban Finns a big city feel, but owner George Carey keeps prices moderate given the attention to detail and cool creativity. Surrounded on three sides by windows overlooking Salem Harbor, the restaurant offers guests lively waterfront scenery and a comfortable open interior. In warmer months, you will definitely want to find yourself sipping colorful martinis out on the patio, and in those cold New England months, you will love slurping down wasabi-stolty oysters by the fireplace.
If you're searching for the best seafood in New England, I welcome you to join us at Finn's.
Come to Salem for the history and stay for the food at Finn's. Now it's about time I get back to Danvers and my talk with Richard Trask. So tell me about the other buildings on the property here, the Rebecca Nurse Homestead.
We got about 22 acres, which is pretty unusual to have that much open space.
You could almost have your own Danvers Disneyland here.
You could, yeah, if you wanted to. We have the Nurse Homestead itself. We've got the barn. We also have a reproduction of the 1672 meeting house because there's not an original first period meeting house that exists. I did the research and we tried to do it as authentically as possible.
The property has been the setting for many historical television and film productions, including the 1984 PBS miniseries Three Sovereigns for Sarah, which starred Vanessa Redgrave.
The other thing we have, a short walk down Old Path, is the Nurse family burial ground. When the so-called witches were found guilty and executed, they weren't allowed to be given Christian burials. They were just thrown in crevices near the place of execution. Several of the families stole the bodies and brought them back to their own homesteads for secret burial. One was Rebecca Nurse. We don't know where she is, but we believe that she was actually buried there.
She's somewhere out there.
Yep, and in the 1890s, they built this memorial for her. But then we have an interesting thing that happened back in 1992. Another one of the families that stole the body of one of the executed witches was George Jacobs. Long story short, I had custody of those bones, and we thought it was time to try to put them to rest. A lot of people cooperated and kind of did fake certificates so that we could do it.
You faked his death?
No, his death was real. We faked the death certificate.
Danvers is home to many incredible historical sites, including the Paris excavation site and the Salem Witchcraft Victims Memorial. So the other place you took me recently was the Witchcraft Victims Memorial. Can you tell me about that?
We thought it was time to actually do a memorial which had never been done before. We designed a memorial which has a lot of symbolism that Puritans would have understood as a remembrance of the two important things that you get out of this whole witchcraft tragedy. One that I've already spoken to is the integrity of the individual, that an individual can make a difference in history and be remembered because of the heroics he or she did. The other thing is, we tend to think that witchcraft was a silly thing. We would never make mistakes like that. But in fact, witch hunts are always around. We have to confront them in our own time, just as they did then. What the memorial was trying to do is show that in our own time, we have to confront our witch hunts with bravery and integrity as those individuals did who were executed back in 1692.
My Uncle Richard Trask, thank you very much for coming on the show with me. I appreciate you
It was a
revisiting
pleasure.
history with me. Thanks a lot.
And remember it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Salem, Massachusetts is known around the world for an infamous part of American history. Today, I met up with my own uncle, Richard Trask, who reminded me that it was the town of Danvers right next door where most of the events of the Salem witchcraft era took place. It was quite a history lesson. Then I drove into Salem to check into the Salem Waterfront Hotel and Suites, where I met the hotel's owner, Michael Rocket, who built a luxurious hotel on Pickering Wharf. Tony Betancourt rounded off my trip with a dinner invitation to his 62 Restaurant and Wine Bar. Tony had me cooking alongside him before we got to enjoy a great meal with an awesome bottle of wine. I hope you enjoyed this trip to Salem and Danvers, Massachusetts. I'm Greg Bogosian. I'll see you next time on The New England Traveler.